It's 2 a.m. Company's entire network goes dark. Servers encrypted, backups destroyed, customer data, potentially millions of records, exposed. The CEO asks 3 questions. How did they get in? How long were they inside? And what did they take? Nobody in the company can answer those questions. Nobody except one team. The DFIR team. Digital Forensics and Incident Response. They are the investigators, the digital crime scene analysts, the people who piece together what happened, how it happened, and who did it from digital evidence that most people wouldn't even know existed. And if that sounds like a career you want, this is your complete blueprint. DFIR is one of the most intellectually demanding and rewarding careers in cybersecurity, and it's one of the fastest growing. The job market for information security analysts, which includes DFIR, is projected to grow 33% through 2034. That's 8 times the national average. Entry-level DFIR analysts in the UK start at 30 to 45k. In the US, that's 60 to 80k. Senior practitioners command 70 to 80k in the UK, and then 130 to 170 plus in the US. But here's what makes DFIR different from SOC or GRC or even cloud security. Every case is a puzzle. Every investigation is unique. You're not triaging the same alert categories day after day. You're constructing attack timelines from disk images, memory dumps, network captures, and log artifacts. You're the person who figures out the story the evidence tells. In the next 20 minutes, I'm giving you everything: what the job actually is, the skills you need, the tools, the certifications, the portfolio projects, and exactly how to get hired. Let's go. What a DFIR analyst actually does. So, DFIR has 2 sides. Digital forensics is the science, incident response is the action. Most roles combine both. Digital forensics essentially is a methodical examination of digital evidence. When something bad happens, a breach, ransomware, insider theft, you examine hard drives, memory dumps, network traffic, and log files to reconstruct exactly what happened, step by step. You essentially are a detective, but your crime scene is digital. Incident response is the operational side. When attack is live, you're on the front line. Containment, stop the bleeding. Eradication, remove the attacker. Recovery, restore the systems. And post-incident analysis, prevent it happening again. Here's the day-to-day. Evidence acquisition. So you essentially are creating forensic images of hard drives and memory without altering the original. Chain of custody matters. Do this wrong and the evidence is inadmissible. Disk forensics, examining file systems, recovering deleted files, analyzing timestamps, tracing user activity. Memory forensics, analyzing RAM captures. Malware that never touches disk lives only in memory. If you don't capture memory, you miss it. Log analysis and timeline reconstruction, building a minute-by-minute attack timeline from Windows event logs, Sysmon, firewall logs, and authentication records. Malware triage, initial analysis of suspicious files. What does it do? How does it persist? Where does it communicate? And report writing, documenting findings for executives, lawyers, and sometimes courts. A DFIR analyst who can't write, can't communicate their findings. The SOC detects the alert. DFIR is the team they escalated to when the alert is real. You love puzzles, investigation, and reconstructing events from fragments of evidence. This career is built for you. So let's put it all together and build the full career blueprint. Phase 1, we start with investigation foundations. We need to start learning security fundamentals first. CompTIA Security Plus is your baseline. Focus on incident response phases, evidence handling, chain of custody, cryptographic hashing for integrity verification, and attack frameworks such as cyber chain and MITRE ATT&CK. These aren't theory for DFIR, they are daily vocabulary. Operating systems deep dive. DFIR demands deeper OS knowledge than any other cybersecurity path. You need to know where the evidence lives. For Windows, that's registry hives, prefetch files, amcache, cache, LNK files, jump lists, event logs, the NTFS master file table. Every user action leaves artifacts. For Linux, that's bash history, auth logs, syslog, cron jobs, category, var/log directories, file timestamps such as Mac files, critical for cloud and server investigations. Then we're looking at network fundamentals such as TCP/IP, DNS, HTTP and HTTPS, SMTP. We need to learn how to read packet captures, follow TCP streams, filter by protocol, identify C2 traffic, for data exfiltration. Wireshark is your tool. And then, least but not last, scripting for forensics. Python for automating evidence parsing, PowerShell for Windows investigations, querying event logs, examining processes, extracting registry data, 50-line scripts that save hours. So let's put all the resources together for you. I'm going to put them on the screen for you here, guys. First of all, as always, Professor Messer Security Plus. That's all free on YouTube. 13 Cubed YouTube channel. That's a great free resource for exceptional Windows forensic content. DFIR Diva. That's a free training site. You can see the link on the screen. TryHackMe, Introduction to Digital Forensics Room. Again, that's free. Wireshark, obviously you can download from wireshark.org. Eric Zimmerman's tools, that's free Windows artifact parsers. Automate the boring stuff with Python, again, that's a great online repository for learning Python. And obviously my DFIR YouTube channel for practical DFIR walkthroughs. That's all together for the phase 1. Phase 2, time to step it up a notch. Forensic tools and evidence analysis. Now we dive in deep into actual tools that are going to be your day-to-day once you become a DFIR analyst. We're talking about disk forensic tools such as FTK Imager, which is free. You can create forensic disk images and memory dumps. First tool at any crime scene. Learn EO1 images, hash verification, mounting images. Autopsy, again, free and open source. Primary investigation platform. You can import disk images, examine file systems, recover deleted files, and analyze browser history and build timelines. Eric Zimmerman's tools, which are free again, it's MFTE CMD, DECMD, GLE CMD, RECMD, parse Windows artifacts, master file table, prefetch, jump lists, and registry, used by every DFIR professional. Now we're looking at memory forensics. Volatility 3, again, free and open source tool. That's the gold standard for extracting running processes, network connections, loaded DLLs, injected code, command history from RAM dumps, catches what disk forensics misses. And then evidence collection and triage. CAPE, that's a free tool. That's crawl artifact parser and extractor by Eric Zimmerman. Automates collection of critical forensic artifacts in minutes instead of imaging entire drives. Velociraptor, that's a free open source tool again. Endpoint visibility and remote collection. Deploy agents, collect artifacts, hunt threats at scale. How modern DFIR teams work. And then network forensics and SIM. Wireshark for PCAP analysis, Network Miner for file extraction, Zeek for network logging, learn to identify C2 beacons, DNS tunneling, and lateral movement, combining with SIM analysis such as Wazoo, Elastic, or Splunk to build a complete attack timelines. Let's recap the resources for Phase 2 in here. Autopsy, again, that's a free tool from autopsy.com. FTK Imager, that's free from Xtero. Volatility 3, as you can see, there is a GitHub repository link. 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫 from Eric Zimmerman. Velociraptor, Eric Zimmerman's tools, again, for full site on his GitHub. Cyber Defenders, that offers free DFIR challenges. Again, great Let's Defend path from DFIR. And Blue Team Labs Online, again, some great labs and resources to practice and hone in those most important DFIR skills. Now, let's jump into Phase 3, the most important part of your journey. You learn the fundamentals, you learn the tools. Now, let's put them to use. Your investigation, projects, and hands-on skills portfolio. In DFIR, your portfolio isn't just code, it's investigation reports. Every project ends with a structured report. What you found, how did you find it, and what it means. So, let's start. Project 1, Disk Forensics Investigation. You can download a forensic disk image from Cyber Defenders, import it into Autopsy, investigate user activity, delete files, browser history, suspicious programs, build a timeline, write a report, and document it on your GitHub. Project number 2, Memory Forensic Analysis. You can download again a memory dump from Cyber Defenders, analyze it with Volatility 3, running processes, network connections, injected code, command history. Write a report detailing findings and the tools that you have used. Project number 3, Windows Artifact Deep Dive. Using EZ tools, parse prefetch files, stream cache, amcache, registry hives, jump lists, LNK files from practice image. Create an artifact analysis report mapping user activity to the timestamps. Project number 4, Network Forensics Investigation. Again, you can download a PCAP file from Cyber Defenders or Malware Traffic Analysis. Analyze it in Wireshark, initial compromise, C2 comms, data exfiltration, covert channels. Write a network investigation report. And number 5, full incident response simulation. Capstone. In your home lab, launch a multi-stage attack from Kali, such as access, persistent, escalation, lateral movement, and exfiltration. Then you can switch to Defender, acquire disk image and memory dump, analyze it with Autopsy, Volatility, and EZ tools. Build MITRE ATT&CK timeline, write professional incident response report, execute executive summary, scope, timeline, evidence, root cause, and recommendations. This single project demonstrates the full DFIR lifecycle. Besides the tools, besides the projects, you'll need at least 1 or 2 certifications to become successful. So let's look at them. DFIR certs are more expensive than most paths. GIAC exams are $979 even without SANS training. There are affordable options. So, Tier 1, the foundation, as we covered earlier. That's CompTIA Security Plus, around £350. That's your baseline, that's your HR filter, and focus on IR phases, evidence handling, and attack framework. Tier 2, the DFIR entry certificate. You can do Cyber Defenders CCD, that's £400 to £500. It has 48-hour exam, which is hands-on. Disk forensics, memory forensics, network forensics, threat hunting, and incident response. Practical and increasingly recognized. Tier 2 alternative, which I'm not necessarily think is as good, but it probably has better sort of HR recognition. That's EC Council CHFI. That's again 350 to 500 pounds. That's a vendor neutral, but it covers DFIR concepts and it's kind of more theoretical, but it's widely recognized and affordable when you compare it to GIIC. Now, tier 3, that's the gold standard. And I would suggest you get them once you become employed. So GIIC GCFE, that's a Windows forensics, $979 for exam. And then GIAC GCFA, which is advanced forensics plus threat hunting. They could be paired with SANS 500 and 508 training. But these trainings are very expensive. They would cost you up to £5,000. And that's why I say leave them to when you get the job. And if you can get employer to sponsor them, that's an amazing career differentiator. But realistic path is Security Plus CCD. That's between 750 and 850 pounds. One foundation cert, one hands-on DFIR cert, GIC comes later on employer budget. So let's recap the resources as I mentioned again. CompTIA Security Plus, Professor Messer, that's all free on YouTube. Cyberdefender CCD, that can be found on cyberdefenders.org. And then you go EC Council CHFI on eccouncil.org. And then the rest of them, they're obviously GIC exams and SANS courses. Okay, let's look at your CV, your portfolio, and the job hunt itself. The portfolio, so your GitHub tells one story. This person can investigate, analyze, and report. So we have the 5 projects that we covered: disk forensic investigation report with autopsy, memory forensics report with volatility 3, Windows artifact analysis using 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐵𝐻's tools, network forensics PCAP analysis, and full incident response report with MITRE attack timeline. Now, CV, I keep talking about, but the most important thing how you differentiate your CV is action plus proof plus impact. So, example, every single sentence on your CV should be built with this example in mind. I conducted disk forensics investigation of a compromised Windows image using autopsy and 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐵𝐻's tools, recovering deleted files, reconstructing browser history, and building user activity timeline. Findings documented in a structured investigation report on my GitHub. Now, job hunt. I would say target roles such as these: DFIR analyst, incident response analyst, digital forensics analyst, SOC analyst with IR focus, and junior forensic examiner. The SOC to DFIR pipeline is real. SOC level 2 with incident response components is the perfect stepping stone. Target employers such as MSSPs, IR consultancies like CrowdStrike's services, Mandiant, NCC Group, Kroll, enterprise incident response teams, and law enforcement forensic units. Now, LinkedIn, hiring manager, direct message, and how to approach and stand out from the crowd once you are on the learning journey. That's always, most of the time, follows your application to a job. I state your name. I applied for the specific role. I'm building my DFIR career with documented investigations on GitHub, disk analysis with autopsy, memory analysis with volatility, and a full IR simulation with MITRE attack timeline. I'd welcome the chance to discuss my work and then add a portfolio link. That should follow every single job application. Now, let's put together complete timeline and costs. So as we covered the phases, months 1 to 4 covers foundations. That's your Security Plus, OS deep dive, networking, Wireshark, Python and PowerShell. Takes about 4 months. Then from months 4 to 8, you're learning forensic tools, what we covered: FTK Imager, autopsy, volatility, tape, 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐵𝐻's tools, Velociraptor, and Cyber Defenders challenges. Months 8 to 11, we're doing projects: 5 investigation projects: disk, memory, artifact, network, and full incident response simulation. Months 11 to 12, that's where we're jumping into CCD certification, CV, your GitHub, and LinkedIn. Month 12 onwards, that's where the job hunt starts. Applications, hiring manager outreach, interview prep. Total, 12 to 14 months. Total cost, as discussed earlier, £750 to £850. All forensic tools, they all are free. Autopsy, Volatility, CAPE, 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐞's tools, FTK Imager, Velociraptor, and all training platforms are free. Cyber Defenders, Let's Defend, and Try Hack Me. Every forensic tool is free and it's open source. So you can't say that the cost is the biggest barrier to entry. Now, remember the opening? That 2 a.m. Network encrypted, data stolen. 3 questions nobody could answer. How did they get in? How long they were inside? And what did they take? The DFIR analyst answers every one. From digital evidence most people don't know exists. Deleted files that aren't really deleted. Memory artifacts from vanished processes. Network traffic telling the story of data leaving the building. This is the detective role of cybersecurity. The tools are free. The practice images are free. The training platforms are free. The certifications cost less than most people spend on subscriptions they don't use. The only question is whether you're the type of person who wants to solve the puzzle or just read about it. So here's what I need from you. Drop a comment. Have you heard of DFIR before this video? I want to know how many people are discovering this for the first time. I'll reply with specific advice based on your background. If this opened a door you didn't know existed, hit like. DFIR is massively underrepresented on YouTube. I built complete blueprints for every cybersecurity career. SOC, GRC, cloud security, DevSecOps, pen testing, IAM, AI security, interview masterclass, and all are in the descriptions. All are free. Subscribe. No gatekeeping, no exceptions. The evidence is waiting. Start investigating now.